Good afternoon. Just kind of start back on last Saturday night's game a little bit. I thought, obviously our guys came out strong to start the game, and we held them on a fourth down. I thought this is early in the game, but it's a pivotal point in the game. They drive the field and we hold them on fourth down. We get the ball back and drive all the way down the field to get it first and goal, and ended up not getting any points. I obviously thought that was huge in the game because of how the game played out. It was a back and forth battle the whole first half, and in the second half we came out, moved the ball pretty good in the third quarter, and just didn't get enough points on the board. And then in the fourth quarter, they hit a play there, a couple big plays, and got down and scored. And we had to settle for a field goal, and did not get the ball in the end zone. Obviously, that was a big part. But I thought their kids made more plays than we did in the fourth quarter, particularly their quarterback and a couple of the receivers. And then us offensively, we moved the ball, just not enough points. And I think obviously touchdowns is better than field goals, and that's the one thing that we've got to do a better job of scoring touchdowns once we get down in the red zone. I think we're moving forward now. Playing a team that's played for and won many national championships, and a lot of tradition there. They're used to winning. This year have not done as well as they've done in the past. You think about because they were so dominant the last 7-8 years, and this year a lot of close games. They've lost a few, and I think they played a Georgia team, which I think everybody thinks Georgia is one of the top teams in the country, and have been playing that way 10-3, and then a lot of close games. Offensively, they did not put up the numbers they've been used to putting up. A lot of new players on that side of the ball. Defensively, they're still one of the best defenses in the country. I think they're number 3 in the country in scoring defense. Even they've had a lot of injuries and still ranked really high defensively, holding teams, in single digits to teens. And I think as you watch the film, very impressive on that side of the ball. Number 47's played a lot of football. He's a quarterback on the defense. He can probably call the defenses. He knows it so well. So, and he's still playing at a high level. I think their D-line's impressive. They did have some injuries there, but they still have some great players that cause havoc up front. The biggest thing that they do well on their defense is just the multiple things they do on defense and the way they play it. So, we're excited about the opportunity of hosting these guys and, playing 7:30 and, look forward to having a great crowd here, a crowd that we can feed off of. And, this weekend we'll need it.
Scott came with the Courier-Journal. Just an update on Trey Clark.
Trey, really was playing well in the game. They took a lot of shots out there at our corners. Thought he played well, and then on a tackle ended up getting rolled up, and we had the MRI done. And it looks like he's going to have surgery, so he'll be out probably for the remainder of the season, and which is a tough blow for us. Obviously, one of our better players on that side of the ball, and obviously feel certain. Just like the other guys, Monty and Braden that had the surgery, they're on the mend now, and he'll be in that same boat. But just an unfortunate loss.
Kind of off that, it's your third starter you lost for the year, and Trey's a big part of what you guys do. How big of a loss is that for you guys, especially in the secondary?
Well, it's big. Obviously he's a All-ACC performer, and we count on him a lot. And we're playing some other guys as well, but he's played the most out there at corner. You feel good when he's out there. I mean, he makes plays. I think he maybe leading the ACC in passes defended. I know he's one of the top interception guys in the ACC, and it's a big loss on that side of the ball. We've not been great in our pass defense, and losing one of our better pass defenders certainly hurts. But the other guys have to rise up, and they're going to have to make plays. And Chandler Jones and Greedy Vance, and Trey Franklin you're going to have to step in and really fill that void.
Jody Dimley with Cardinal Authority. Speaking of Trey Franklin, he's been a guy that's played quite a bit. Is he I assume he was always mostly on third down. He is a guy now that becomes
Yeah, he's going to have to be the guy to step up to be, to be an every down guy now. Coach B rotates some of those guys that in the secondary there at corner, and like you mentioned, Trey was a big part of our third down package when we put in our extra DB package, but now he's going to have to be part of that, but also part of the rotation at corner. He's practiced well the last 2 weeks, and he'll look forward to that opportunity to be able to go out there and play at corner. I mean, he's a good player. Hey. Well, I think a lot of it determines the circumstance of the game and how we are. But I think you want to be able to heat up the quarterback a little bit so he doesn't hold the ball forever, which puts more pressure on your DBs in the back end. I think we have to be selective in that. There's a couple of times Saturday night we brought pressure and we got beat, some one-on-one stuff, and you watch the film and we're like getting ready to hit the quarterback and the ball's gone. So if you're there just a half a count earlier, obviously you're getting a sack. We got one sack last week. Obviously, we want to get more than that. Their quarterback threw the ball some good spots, and the receivers made some plays. When you're playing that one-on-one, though, you have to hit home. We got to get home to the quarterback. Because you're putting on an island out there, one-on-one coverage. If you don't get home, then it's going to be tough for that DB. But yeah, so we're going to have to be able to mix it up. We're going to have to do some zone, some man, bring pressure, drop some guys. I mean, just the different things because you just can't. These quarterbacks, man, that we're playing, they're good, and we've played some good ones this year. The one Saturday night was, he was up there probably in the top 3 that we've played, and and the one we're getting ready to play this week is, he's got as good as arm as anybody in the country, and sometimes they have not been able to hit some of those throws, but he certainly can make them because every game he's made some incredible throws, and so. Yeah, we got to be able to mix it up and try to put a little bit of doubt or confusion in the quarterback's head.
Coach Kent Taylor from Wave TV. You mentioned in your opening statement that Clemson's not as dominant as they have been the last few years, but they're still Clemson,
yeah.
and as dominant as they have been, everybody knows. I mean, they're one of the marquee programs in college football. What would it mean for you guys? How could it kind of jumpstart your season to get a win on Saturday night?
Well, I mean, it'd be awesome to get a win. A team, as I mentioned, that's won national championships, played for it a bunch of times, and basically just run through the ACC over the last 7 or 8 years, and they have not lost very many games, and To be able to beat a team like that, I mean, this year would be incredible. It'd be great for our program, it'd be great for our guys. They're a brand that everybody knows throughout the country, and if it comes across the ticker that Louisville won the game, then that's huge. And in a lot of aspects, not only in just for the wins purposes, but also for the program moving forward. We talk about recruiting and all of the aspects part of the program. So yeah, obviously it'd be a huge win for us.
Scott, you mentioned after the NC State loss how big their environment was for you all. Getting fans to Saturday's game, how big would that be, and how beneficial you think it would be for you guys?
Well, it's extremely beneficial. I mean, it's a home field advantage, and I just think about last week, as I mentioned, that first drive, down in Raleigh, we're on the 1 yard line. It's 4th and 1, and we get a false start penalty because it was so loud in that corner of the end zone. And the play we had called, it looked like it would have been a touchdown. I mean, that's a huge difference in the game, and so that's what a home field advantage can do for you. We got to have it. We got to have our fans to be here, to be loud, to be all engaged into the game, and which can be. We certainly can be that here. We've been that way here, and we got to encourage the fans to come out, support us. We're going to have some great recruits that are going to be here this weekend. And from a lot of different parts of the United States, and it'll be awesome for them the recruits to come in and see a huge crowd and to see how loud it is and see what kind of great environment this is to play in.
Scott, Andrew Chernoff here, WLKY. I know you mentioned offensively you want to put more points on the board. You touched on a few things after the game on Saturday, like penalties and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that stands out to you that this offense needs to do differently or better to put those points on the board? What's
Well, I mean, every game is probably different. I think this past week, it was penalties. I mentioned the one on the 4th and 1 there. Then we're backed up, and we throw a Marshawn a ball, about a 35-yard ball down the sideline to get to midfield, and we get a face mask from one of our offensive linemen, and that pulls it back. I mean, those are just drive killers. The other thing is, we took a couple of shots, and we got to be able to connect on those shots. I mean, those, it takes one or two of those to connect for a touchdown, like we did with Watkins. That was a huge play. One or two more of those, and we had opportunities, and we just didn't connect. And we can go back to you can go back 2 years ago when we hit a bunch of big plays, and we won 8 games that year, because if you connect one or two of those balls, it's the difference in winning and losing, and it literally comes down to one or two plays, and we're really close right now, and have been in some of these very close losses to hit one play, to be able to get over the top. So. Those are things we have to work on. We have to work on continuing to do that, to run the kind of routes to get guys free, and then Malik being able to hit them.
Scott, you mentioned on Saturday night about the long ball and how it was just off. It seemed like the other night that Malik, the throws were a little different than normal. Was it something technical, or was it just the lack of execution?
Well, first of all, the positive was the ball to Watkins was as pretty as you're going to see. They brought pressure, brought the corner. Offensive line did a great job of protecting. Caleb Chandler came back and blocked the corner, and he threw it down the sideline. What a beautiful throw and catch, and a great play by Watkins. And then there's a couple others. We had Watkins on a post route, where we had Tyler Harrod on one as well, where the ball, it needs to be thrown a little bit more to the left. And particularly these routes, I mean, if you're running a post and you want to bring the ball to the opposite side of the field. And, one of them he got pressure on. He gets hit right as he's throwing it, so the ball's a little bit off there. So it's a little bit of the protection. It's a little bit of, at what angle the departure angle is of the wide receiver, and then where the ball is getting thrown. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to happen in order to make that, completion. So a little bit of all those things. And I think, and then looking back, we had 5 drops on the night. I mean, I think one of the questions was, completion percentage, but 5 drops. I mean, we got to catch the football, and I think so. It's all of them. It's protection. It's the throw. It's the catch. It's all those things have to happen. The positives were, we moved the football against a good defense. One of the top defenses in this league last week. I think we were giving up 90-some yards rushing. We had over 200 yards rushing, and that was really one of our better rushing performance from our running backs. And all 3 guys had big plays in the running game. And I think just hitting a few more of those balls down the field, it could be the difference.
Scott, the defense this year after turnovers has been much better than they were a year ago. I think you've only given up 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals after a turnover. Just what do you see from the defense that they're being able to come out on the field after a turnover and get stopped?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of that sudden change mentality that you go out, and those are things we've worked on in practice where, we're in the middle of a practice and all of a sudden I'll just put the ball down and give them a scenario, and we call it sudden change. And they've done a really good job with that, unexpectedly, a turnover, man, we got to come right back on the field and we have to rise up and make a play. The defense has done that. And in the last 2 weeks, the defense has played really well. We gave up a few plays there in the fourth quarter this past game, but man, for the first 3 quarters, they played outstanding and shut the run game down. And their quarterback and receivers, I thought, were the difference in the game. They made plays in the passing game, but our defensively, they've played well, and they've gotten better, and we're going to continue to need that as we play these next few opponents. Clemson's got a really good defense. Syracuse next week's got a good defense. So we're going to need our defense to play well and to try to hold these offenses to a low number. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Well, I mean, no matter what you face, what adversity you face, you still have to believe. You have to have that, and that just comes down deep inside and within to know that no matter what the circumstance is, that we're still in this and we still got an opportunity, a chance. And that's got to be in your core to have that belief. And so, it's real easy to get discouraged, and we're in a world full of discouraged people. And we're trying to create an environment here where no matter what is going on, we still got a chance. We still got an opportunity. And, it's the next play. We're going to make it happen and do this particular play. And that's just how the mentality's got to be. So, yeah, you got to continue to have that belief. You know, we've lost some games, you know, that were really close and right there against some really good teams. And, you know, and that's how close we are. We got to find a way to get over the hump and to win these games. And, you know, and that's what we're doing. I mean, we're going to work on it every day to try to figure that out.
Scott, Matt McGavick with Sports Illustrated. You mentioned heading into that NC State game that the message to your team was you guys still had a chance to make some noise in the ACC standings. I think you guys could have gone up to second with that and a Clemson loss. But after the loss to NC State, how does that message to your team change, or has the message changed at all in terms of just?
Well, I think this week the message is, you know, we got an outstanding program coming in here with an opportunity to beat them at our home field, and you know, to play a team like Clemson. Like I mentioned, all the tradition and history and what they've been able to accomplish, and you know, a ton of respect for them. And you know, like I said, a national brand. That would be a huge notch in our belt to be able to beat them. And so that's a ton of motivation right there to get ready for this week. And our guys are fired up and they're excited. Disappointed on Sunday when we came back, obviously from the loss on Saturday, but encouraged with the fact that we still got a good football team and we're ready to go play and try to get this win against Clemson.
Scott, the fourth quarter hasn't been good to you guys. Virginia, obviously NC State. When you look at film, is it a lack of depth, or what do you think is going wrong, and then how do you fix that the next few games?
You know, we just got to make more plays. I mean, you know, 2 games, Boston College, we made the plays in the fourth quarter, you know, which was just 2 games ago. And, you know, so in, you know, Central Florida, we made the plays in the fourth quarter. I mean, you know, so if you don't, then you're going to have a hard time to win. And I think in those particular games you mentioned when we lost those 2, you know, we didn't make enough in the fourth quarter, and the opponent did. And, you know, ultimately it comes down into making plays. And what we've done here this year is give our team an opportunity to win games. We're in every game. And that's the encouraging thing, is that we're right there, that we're in every game. And in the fourth quarter, when it's a tight ball game, you got to make one more play. You got to find out, man, whatever it is. If it's a defense, we got to shut down their offense, and that's what we have to do. We got to keep them out of the end zone. If it's offensively, we got to go drive and make a play, and stay within what you're doing. What it seems like to me is sometimes we get into those situations, guys try to do a little too much. A player does a little bit too much, and now he's out of the context of what we're trying to do, offensively or defensively, and you're getting out of position, and then you can't make the play, and then they're making us pay for that. If we continue to do what we've been doing throughout the game, staying within the offense, staying within the defense, then we're going to be fine. It's going to be good enough to go win the game. You know, and so what we found in some of these situations is the guys, you know, trying to do a little too much. Just do what you're supposed to do, and then it's going to take care of itself. Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.